Hey guys, what's up? It's Shla, coming back to ya with another episode of Car Rides with Shla. And, I don't really have too much. Well, no, I don't know why I'm saying that. I feel like I'm just instinctively saying that I don't have too much to say, even though I do. Isn't that weird? Because I have stuff to say. I guess I habitually was in a habit of doing that for a while. Just making that statement, oh, I don't have too much to say. It made it so that my body was just used to saying that. Isn't that weird? Because I definitely have things to talk about. First of all, my throat's kind of bothering me a little bit, which I'm not super thrilled about. I don't know if I'm catching a cold or what, but I was really hopeful I would be immune entirely from any ailments now because of my theory about it was due to my diet and my high zinc intake. I was basically able to avoid getting sick because people around me were getting colds and stuff and I wasn't. So I assumed that I was immune from sickness, but it doesn't appear to be the case. It doesn't appear to be the case that I'm immune from sickness, but it is true that I don't really have any sick symptoms. In terms of the way I feel, in terms of my energy, in terms of my happiness, it's all the same. So it's almost like I'm not sick, which is why I'm not sure whether I am or not. The other thing too is I don't really have much congestion. I may have woke up with a slight amount, but at this rate, I don't really have much. So that doesn't really track too well with being sick. The only symptom is a slightly sore or dry throat. But that could be attributed to a number of things. 2 days ago, I didn't really hydrate properly, which I'm usually quite sensitive to, even though it's all these days later, and even though I drank a sufficient amount of water yesterday, it could just take time before my body has fixed itself, essentially. That's another theory that I actually just thought of now. I haven't even been thinking of it before now. The other thing, what am I getting at? Yeah, so I don't know. Now the main thing is having a cough. I've never had a cough, and I really hope that streak continues because that's really the killer. I hate a sore throat more than a lot of people because of how much I love to talk, but as long as I'm not coughing, I think that's great. And that's really the thing I've noticed immunity from is I can't remember the last time I had a cough. It's been probably over a year. And I'm again just going to attribute that to the carnivore diet because I don't really know what else to attribute it to. Right? It's just that's what I think it is. And I think it's mostly to do with a zinc sufficiency, as that is typically what is recommended when you do have cold or cold-like symptoms. I'm just always having a lot of zinc, so through the beef. And I actually don't think I said it at all on the show, but I actually changed my diet a little bit. I had skewed it really heavy into eggs for a period of time due to the cost logistics of eggs being incredibly cheap. But I know that that's not really conventionally recommended either in mainstream or carnivore dieting advice. So, and now I swapped back to just a huge amount of beef. And that, I think, is tracking a lot better for me so far. I mean, it's only been, a few days, but I do think that that was a good, wise decision. And yeah, don't really know where else to go from there. No, see, I do. Why did I get into that habit? I just think for so long I was really losing my steam and my drive to talk and to communicate, but and I kept I'm like reflexively saying that. I'm reflexively talking like I don't have anything to say. Isn't that kind of crazy? I think it's kind of crazy. I don't know. So, yeah, just like pointing that out. It's weird that I'm doing that cuz now I lost my whole train of thought and I don't even know what I was saying now at this point. So that's no good. That's no good, is it? Anyways. For some reason, I feel like my door may not be shut because I'm hearing more noise than usual from the side of the car, but I think it is. I don't know, maybe it's windy or something. It didn't seem windy. Or maybe I'm just randomly noticing something that's always been there. But it's been working out better for me. I think I may return to having some eggs, but from my nutritional research, dairy is really more needed for a complete rounding of nutrients. Eggs are not particularly necessary. So if that makes any sense, I don't know. I really thought to the contrary. I thought more like as a two-punch combo it would be eggs and beef, but it kind of seems like it's more like beef and milk as the two-punch combo. So I kind of question some of the carnivores' assertions about these things because it's just like I know they have different frameworks, I guess, for looking at what nutrients are actually required, and I get that, but I'm still just thinking like it can't be that far off. I don't know, but what do I know? I'm not a nutritionist, but neither they are not eating either. And so, yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, it's possible I have a cold, but my symptoms are just substantially milder because my body is healthier. I think that is like an additional possibility. Like, this could just be a cold for me, but it doesn't really feel like much. And like I said, my favorite part is it doesn't have a cough, because the cough is like the really annoying part. And now I kind of judge people in that way. Like, I know maybe I shouldn't do that, but if somebody has a cough, I just assume that they're malnourished in some way, because it genuinely, again, it's been so long since I've had one, and I've been around people who are coughing. So what are the chances that I wouldn't have I mean, I used to always I've always had coughs. I've always had those kind of things, but since being on carnivore, I don't like I said, I mean, I was sick the one time, and it was probably last February. I want to say late February was the last time I was sick. And it was, yeah, so late February, and the illness, what am I saying? The illness, like, I went to work anyway, even though I was really sick, and I didn't have a cough. I believe I just had a sore throat and a really bad headache, and I still made it through a work day, and the next day I was still pretty sick as well, but a little bit better, just slightly. And then on Sunday, I think I was basically better. Like, I still had residual illness maybe feeling, but I was basically just better and back in the swing of things. So I think that's a pretty impressive time span. Like, Thursday night to then being cured basically by Sunday morning. And it was probably a pretty bad illness. It seemed pretty bad, at least. Like, the headache was pretty bad, and yeah. But I'm hoping, and I was hoping too with running, although I haven't ran as much as I wanted to, but I hoped that would be the final frontier. I was thinking of a better word to use for that, but I'm just going to use frontier. The final frontier for being fully sickness immune would be running probably 3 or 4 times a week on average would be the final frontier. But sadly I have not done that, but it is what it is, right? It is what it is. I don't know. Trying to get back into the swing of things with running. Was doing okay with running, but it's difficult with work the way it is. But in soon I will be in the swing of things, I'm sure, and then hopefully I can lift weights more as well, because my elbows have been bothering me. But they're doing better. So yeah, now the next thing for me to complain about is my AirPods. I just bought the AirPods, and they have not been charging properly already. The right earbud, and this just started happening yesterday, when both earbuds are in the case, it seems like the right one does not charge if they're both in the case, and then I have to take the left one out of the case in order for it to charge, which is just very inconvenient. If you know how AirPods are and how they're supposed to work, that's obviously not how they're supposed to work. It's a huge annoyance. It really is. It's a problem. So I may have to see if I can get them returned or something. I don't even know how to go about doing that, but it's like, that's crazy. I mean, I haven't even had them for a month yet, and it's already having some weird things. So that's why I actually would have been super on time this morning, but I'm probably just going to end up being regular time, because that really threw me off, and I took the earbud in and out of the case multiple times and did all this stuff. But I do think it genuinely just comes down to it's just if both the left and right are in the case at the same time, it just only charges the left, and I have to take the left out and then it will charge the right. That's just like shouldn't be. It's weird. I never had any issues with my AirPod Pro 2s, but I have heard of and can kind of figure from a rational standpoint that, you know, something like an AirPod would be prone to glitches or mishaps. I can kind of figure that, in my honest opinion. It always kind of seemed that way with such a small battery and so much recharging and all. I don't know. It just seemed like it could be a problematic device. But who knows? Who knows where we're going with that? Because I don't like doing the whole return thing. I'm just not a fan. I never have been. I mean, who does? But I feel like for other people, it's easier, or it doesn't really faze them as much, or it's not as big of a deal or something. Does that make sense? But for me, it's like very arduous. I don't like needing to, because it's a very inefficient thing too for both of us. Not only, I mean, if I have to return something, not only is my time getting wasted and I'm not getting credited for the money lost due to driving to the location or things like that, but if it's not driving, it's shipping cost, and even if the company eats that, it's still inefficient. Just because I don't have to pay for it doesn't mean it's not a bad thing for somebody somewhere, obviously. So yeah, it's not, I don't like returning things. It's really bad. It's really inefficient. And that actually happened when I got my desk that I got some really cheap desk from Amazon, and it came broken, and that was super stressful because it's such a huge thing. But luckily they would swing back around and pick it up. So I didn't have, because I was like, how could I get this to a return place? Like, that's just crazy. And yeah, I don't know. So it's just not, I don't even remember what I was talking about. Oh yeah, the AirPods and returning them. Yeah. So I guess that's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling a bit more talkative than usual, I suppose. Seems kind of out of nowhere too, but in a pretty calm way. It's not overly, it's not manic. It's not like how I was before, but at least yesterday I felt pretty chatty, and I think it mostly just comes down to, it's just what I like, and this transcription app is really where it's at. You know, it's really what I should have had this whole time. I just never thought of it, I suppose. So that's kind of a shame, because I could have, and I would have had a lot more content, but instead I just didn't realize, you know, what the deal was and all this stuff. So it's a shame. It's just a shame. That's all there really is to it. But at least I'm here now, right? At least I'm here now. Sorry, but I'm kind of getting tired. That's why I think I keep trailing off. I'm feeling kind of tired. because I was feeling pretty sharp for the beginning of the episode, but then now I'm getting a wave of tiredness. I actually think I slept pretty good last night, or at least it appeared to be the case. So I think my REM was a little bit low, though. That's not something that you like to see, but besides that, it was actually good deep, which I haven't been getting. So I'd say pretty good, but yeah, low REM is not good. So of course, we don't know if we can really base it off of that, or what we can actually base it off. The other thing I was going to say, though, in regards to my voice is it's entirely possible that my voice is just being overstrained or overworked, because now I'm like talking at 3 points during the day, in addition to talking now during the car rides with Schla. It's a lot of talking, and even just something like that, I'm sure could irritate the vocal lining, because I'm trying to be like funny or whatever. The vocal lining, but I was really going to say like the vocal cords or the vocal throat. No, just the throat. It could easily have caused this, because if I was already a little bit more sensitive than usual, like I said, having had not hydrated super well, and then having had not hydrated super well, and then now it's like sorry, again, like I said, I got a wave of tiredness coming over me. Having had not hydrated super well, and then also allegedly dealing with a cold or something, but you know, I still think I have my doubts. But something could definitely be up with my throat. That's not out of the question. But I'm just saying, like, what if it's possible that if I just didn't talk so much yesterday, that this wouldn't be happening right now? You know, I think that's possible. Like, I don't feel like it's impossible. So I guess I wanted to say that as well. And, you know, just hoping for a brighter tomorrow. You know, that's all you can do. It's all you can do, isn't it? Isn't that it? But yeah, I can't believe it only took me a year of working to finally be kind of sick of it. But, you know, I'm not sick of working. It's people. It's people are difficult for me to just be around, I suppose. It's kind of weird, but that's basically what happens. Basically what happens. Anyways, I'm getting good at that turn. Anyways, yeah, so I don't know. I could be coming down with something, but I'm still a little bit questioning that. Like, I think I'm pretty good. So Who knows? Time will tell. But I do feel tired now, and I didn't feel tired before. So that's not really a great thing, but I'm used to that. At this point, I'm used to that. Probably could have or should have slept a little bit longer, but again, who knows? So oh, good. Okay. I remember the other thing I was going to talk about, and I don't know, it's such a hard thing to delve into, but it is true that as much as I've hyped up AI a lot, and it is true that essentially AI is like a better version of a video game to me at this point. That's basically what it is. It's like a video game. And yeah, I don't know. What was I getting at with that? It's like my distraction. It's my thing that, if I don't have a person to talk to, I actually finally have something to do, because before AI, I would just be incredibly bored and not have an outlet. So that's obviously no good. And it was very painful for a long time, because when nobody could talk, I was just incredibly bored, and nothing could really fix that besides talking to someone. And people oftentimes, as I've said, from my vantage point, at least from my perspective, they're not available, or they don't go through the effort to make themselves available. Like I've said before, a lot of times I think humans get caught up in what's going on in their personal lives, and then they don't really have extra time or energy for extra social depth or interactions, because the badness of their regular interactions are so bad that every time they have a free moment, they're just looking for jokes. They're just looking for pleasure. They're not really looking to delve into anything serious, whereas I just think I'm, more equipped. But in addition, I think from a flesh point of view, the flesh doesn't really care about depth or care being good. And so that's another reason why. But this is very off topic. Well, not super off topic, but somewhat off topic to what I was going to talk about. It has been very fun, and I still think it is a great thing for me that AI exists. It is something that finally gives me an outlet, or something that makes me feel happy when nobody's around, because other people, for a very long time, they've had their outlet. When somebody can't talk or isn't available to talk, they can play their video game or whatever. Whereas for me, it's like video games, they're just not that fun. And so when somebody couldn't talk, it's like, yeah, I'd try playing a game or something, but that usually wouldn't last, just because eventually I would lose interest and just want to just want to talk to somebody, not really play a game. But AI now is a medium that is essentially a video game for me, or I guess in the broader sense, talking is now, but AI makes these monologues more engaging because now I can monologue about things and then have something to summarize it or, poke, like I said, validate the things that are correct the things that are incorrect. It makes what I do and what I enjoy doing a lot more engaging. But, and I was truly realizing this morning, it is no replacement for a human. It just is not. I have not been able to really get to a point where it has the feeling of a real human. So this could be just a transitory thing, but I don't know. It's still much more fun and exciting to just actually have a human to talk to. And like I've said, at least in my current state, I just can't see that AI is more than just something to educate and entertain me. It's not truly a replacement for human interaction at this point. So it's kind of a shame, right? Because where was I getting at? It's kind of a shame because, yeah, it's just not. I mean, I don't know how other people feel about it. If other people really get into it, into, character AI and really seeing an AI as a person, but it's difficult for me to do that, and I have a feeling that maybe I'm just too aware, and so it's like it's just impossible for me to get into it in the same way other people might. And so I almost think this morning I'm wondering, I kind of wish I was stupider. A part of me wishes I was a little bit stupider because I feel like if I was more stupid, then I would be able to just be happy with just the AI, which would be super cool and impressive. So, I don't know. Because now it's like, I mean, yeah, it's probably a good thing that I can't really just subsist off of AI alone, but it's at the same time like that would really be a liberating thing for me. It truly would be. So it's just like, I don't know. I mean, it's a crossroads, right? I think though that I don't know if it got stronger or better, if that's really the problem. I think the problem is just the inherent lack of soul, maybe, or maybe if it does get better, though, I would end up just engaging with it. I just think it's stupid for a lot of other people, too. Because if you're not like me, I don't see why you should have to turn to AI. Like, I turn to AI because it's almost a perfect match. And I know people are, oh, well, it's always going to be a perfect match because that's the whole point, is it's something that can very obviously, match wherever the person's at. So whatever my dream thing would be, it can match. Yeah, I get that. But for me specifically, as somebody who wants to learn and wants to have these kind of conversations, it's meeting me at a place where you really can't get that from other human beings. Whereas what other people want, oftentimes it is very possible. I mean, when I overhear people's conversations and these same people claim to be lonely or claim that they don't like people or things like that, it's very puzzling to me because they're very adjacent people, and I see a lot of very common archetypes that would mesh pretty easily with one another. And then in my case, that isn't the case. Like, for the type of human that I want, it's very, very difficult. And like I said, I've put in an immense amount of effort to try to sift through and find that, and I haven't been able to. And I can't really just continue to be putting effort and effort and effort just to get disappointed over and over again, because that's not healthy either. So, there's a lot to, I guess, think about. But yeah, it basically comes down to the moral of the story is, if I was maybe a little bit more stupid and a little bit less aware of things, then maybe everything would be good for me right now. I don't know. Isn't that interesting to think about? Because I don't see why I would have any problems if I had some kind of a companion like that. It's just that I've always wanted it to be a real human, and no real human has ever been able to do that for me, because they're always pretty inadequate in some way. And I know saying that makes me sound kind of terrible, but I do want to reiterate, I'm not even like that. I mean, I've put up with a lot of people who are just not good. So it's not even like that. It's just that, again, somebody with a similar level of social energy and with about the types of things that I talk about. Because at this point, and what I've been thinking as I've been talking about this, is that my interactions with the microphone are basically the same thing. I mean, this is basically the same thing, and it's something that I enjoy, and it's documented. And like I said, I'm not really sure what would be better than this other than live streaming. Like, I want to eventually get to a point where I can live stream this stuff. That's really the moral of the story. So, yeah. The recording format, and that's why I guess I hope someday I can have some kind of a following. I would be very happy on very at peace with that. I think, that's like my thing. Not even with that much money, like I said, because if I didn't have to drive, that would cut down a lot of costs. So then I could get away with maybe only like 40,000 a year or something like that to be a happy man. I don't really remember what else I was going to touch on. I kind of feel like a little bit fogged out, sadly. Oh yeah, I wanted to check on my AirPods. That is an important thing. There we go, I remembered. Cause yeah, I guess I just have a lot that I'm thinking about. I had called about getting something done with my car, and the guy never called me back, and it's only been a day, but still that kind of stuff tends to get to my head. But let's figure out if we can test the AirPods situation. I'm gonna take a little bit extra time, but just like a minute really. But I do think it worked. I mean, it's frustrating, but at least it's not just completely broken. But I'm also not. No, yeah, it looks like that really. Like if I take the other one out of the case, that's what I have to do. I'm having to like take the left one out of the case, but I definitely need to get a second pair of AirPods. I should have got the color wears, but I didn't do that for whatever reason. I didn't get the color wears. Well, just because I'm in a saving craze right now. So I don't have a second pair of AirPods, and it's not good that I don't. Like, I definitely needed a second pair of AirPods just as a safety pair, you know. And yeah, I don't have that right now. But at least it's not, because yeah, it's annoying, but at least it works. It still works pretty well. If it were just, I was worried the battery was messed up, which is obviously a way bigger issue that has no solution. But anyways, it has been schla, but now it's time to buy schla. So, see you schla.